Kiss FM.
Guess what? He's on the end of the line right now. Good morning, Mark.
Hello, Owen. Good morning to you, sir.
Yes, and I believe we're disturbing your Sunday morning at home there in sunny Sussex.
Well, it's okay. I've had my morning bike ride, so I'm up and ready for action.
Oh, you were told to get on your bike this morning, were you? Well, you know we've been trying to get hold of you for a long, long time, and it was Wingman Paul that pulled all the strings, and we finally got hold of you. We have all sorts of stars on here and regular visitors, our Bonnie Tyler and a mutual friend, Cliff Richard. And you go
Cliff.
back a long way with him as well, do you not?
Yes, I do. Cliff, one of the few great stars, I think, of the pop world.
And he's still at it now. But you had a flirting relationship with the Shadows before they became the Shadows, did you not?
I did, yeah. The fellow was my manager, Ray McKenda. He also, apart from his regular job, which was a Lloyd's insurance broker, he used to book acts at the Battersea Town Hall. And after he'd seen me singing at the Co-op, a dance hall above the Co-op in South London, where I was discovered. I can honestly say I was discovered at the Co-op. I was up for a claim to fame. He started booking me into various dance halls in and around London, where he was DJing sometimes on a Tuesday or a Thursday or a Saturday night. And one of the bookings he made was for the Shads, when they were called the Drifters, at the Battersea Town Hall.
Yeah.
And he booked me also, or put me there to get a bit of stage experience, with them backing me on a few songs. So that was quite original, I think, really.
You say about being discovered in the Co-op. You were born just up the way from where I grew up in Guildford in Surrey. You were in Woking, were you not?
I was actually born in Woking in Surrey, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And you probably had... Your mum probably sent you to the Co-op. Did you have your divvy number you at the time?
228071.
Yeah, see, you still remember
I've never
yours.
forgotten it.
It's funny, isn't it? Though people of our generation, we do remember all these things. Well, we all know about the string of hits that you had from 1960 all the way through to 1968. But I think what people want to know now is how have you been filling your time?
Well, I went into my first musical in the West End in 1969, which was called Phil the Fluter. With Stanley Baxter and a wonderful woman called Evelyn Leigh. It wasn't successful. It only ran for about 4 months, but because it closed early, I was asked to go into a wonderful play at the Queen's Theatre called Conduct Unbecoming, written by Barry England, with a superb role of this subaltern set in the English Army in India in 1896, who was actually the defence counsel in the Kangaroo Court, a military play, written by Barry England, wonderful play. There was a film made eventually with Michael York, who played the part that I played in the stage play of Arthur Drake. And from there, I was offered lots of other stage roles in straight theatre, Shakespearean roles. I never ever thought when I started out as a pop singer that I would one day play Macbeth, which I did at the Oldham Rep. And I went on to do a tour of Romeo and Juliet, playing Tybalt and the Apothecary in Act 2, because as you probably know, Tybalt gets killed at the end of Act 1 by Mercutio. And some other Shakespearean roles, Henry V at Chichester Festival Theatre in 1982. And my career just went across the board from one thing to another, from musicals to straight plays, comedies. I was extremely lucky in having these opportunities.
Do you think those opportunities arose not because of the brilliant voice you've got, but also your hauntingly, stunningly good looks?
Well, I
this is what people are telling me.
Lots of people are successful because if they don't have good looks. I mean, I don't want to name any names, but some people are not particularly attractive to look at, but they're wonderful actors and they have a lot of success. So I don't necessarily that is a prime reason. I think the trick, if it's called trick casting, I think it's the fact that because I had success as a pop singer and had some profile, it was interesting to repertory companies and other theatres around the country to employ somebody who'd come from a completely different genre that might be an attraction at the box office for people who live locally in, say, Cheltenham or the Swan Theatre at Worcester, all these places where I played repertory theatre, getting lots of experience with lots of different kinds of plays and comedies. And I think it was what they called trick casting.
So do you think that, obviously working with the greats like Tony Hatch, who did a lot of work with you, that was a good launching pad to get you into musicals?
Oh, indeed. I think I learned a lot from Tony. I mean, he is a fantastic musician. As a matter of fact, he's going to write the foreword for a 3D boxed set of mine that's coming out later this year when I go on a Silver Sixes tour with, it's not Silver Sixes, it's the Solid Gold Rock and Roll Show with Marty Wilde.
Glad you're calling it Solid Gold.
Yep, Solid Gold.
I'm going to charge you for using my show's name, okay?
Oh, is that what you call it?
Yeah, you owe me. You owe me, Mark. You owe me.
Okay, put it on the tab.
Yeah. Now, listen, we know, and you've been in so many stage plays and musicals, far too many for me to reel them all off. Question for you. Out of all of them, which one or ones would stand out as your favourites and why?
My very favourite musical of all, strangely enough, was not playing The Phantom in Andrew Lloyd Webber's Phantom of the Opera in London. That was not my favourite.
I thought you were going to say that one, you know.
No, that wasn't the one, funnily enough. My favourite musical and my favourite role was playing the role of P.T. Barnum in the musical Barnum, who's known as the world's greatest showman. Wonderful impresario from about 1850. It was a huge success on Broadway with Jim Dale. Michael Crawford played it in London, a huge success. I played it in South Africa and then again in America later. And I loved playing Barnum because it encompassed everything. Song, dance, drama, comedy, wonderful score, tricks. Learned to ride the giraffe unicycle, the very tall one. I used to take my curtain call on it. And juggling. It just encompassed everything. And when that show closed, I really had feelings of cold turkey because I knew that there'd never be another role that would offer me all those opportunities and skills.
Now, I understand that you're actually on tour now. This is probably why we've had a bit of a job to get hold of you. Who are you with and what are you doing?
Well, I'm not on tour right at this moment. I'm starting rehearsings for a play in about 4 weeks' time, which is called Rehearsal for Murder. It's a play that was made as a television film in 1982 in America with Jeff Goldblum and Robert Preston and Lynn Redgrave. And we start rehearsing it at the end of May. And I don't know exactly who else is going to be in it at the moment because it's on at the moment, but a lot of people are leaving. They're only playing their basic original 6 months of the tour. And they're replacing lots of people, and I don't know who the replacements are. But I suspect Susan Penn-Halligan will be one of the people.
Oh, one of my favourite actresses. Yeah. And she's a regular visitor here to Portugal, by the way.
Is she really?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm not surprised. I love Portugal myself.
Yeah, when are you coming over next?
Well, I was there quite a lot in the 60s, actually. I rented Cliff's house from him, which was great. And I loved it. I was in the Algarve, Albufeira.
Well, he's actually listening this morning in Barbados.
Is he really?
Yes, I do believe he's there listening. I know his people are anyway. So we'll see if we can get you an invite, to come over.
That would be terrific.
And you can come in the flesh, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, because you're not going on tour just yet, I got that a little bit wrong. Obviously, it's giving you time to spend with your wife, Emma, and your 3 lads, isn't it?
I've got 2 sons and a daughter.
Oh, 2 sons and a daughter,
yep.
Is it?
Yep.
And you're at home with them now?
Well, no, one of them, our eldest son, Josh, who's nearly 29, he lives in Cape Town. He's a composer. He's just composed the score for a film, a South African film. He composes for TV series out there and jingles. He's very successful. Our daughter is a music teacher. She's just returned from a 2-year teaching post in Singapore. Teaches piano and singing. And our youngest son is a student studying reading music up at Oxford, piano and singing and trumpet.
Well, you've just answered my next question. Did they follow you into the business? Because there's another well-known family, who are also friends of ours. We're talking about the Hawkses, Len Chippy Hawkes, formerly of the Tremolos, married to Carol, and of course their 3 all went into the business, both sons and daughter. Now, Carol came on to me knowing that I'd be talking to you this morning, and said, well, of course, she remembers back in 1969 she was with you in the film Haunted House of Horror.
That's absolutely right, and it's about to be re-released with Blu-ray.
Is it really?
Yeah, I was interviewed by a chap recently, and they're putting out a package of DVDs of horror films that have become cults of the period, and that one's going on to Blu-ray. And yes, I remember very fondly Carol being... I think she played my girlfriend in the film.
She did indeed, and she actually said, please don't say this on the air, but we actually kissed 3 times, and it was great.
Yeah, the magic 3, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Carol, I've said it, and you asked me not to, but there you go. Now, you were talking, and I don't know if you want to mention this, I am told quite reliably that you are doing a pop tour later this year.
I am. I went to see last year the Marty Wilde's Rock and Roll Family Package show, and it was so wonderful. The impresario was there that night, actually, and he asked me if I'd be interested in being involved in a show like that. Well, I haven't done a one-night stand tour since 1964.
Oh, you'll get the hang of it.
And the Hollies and the Kinks.
You've just said you've been out riding a bike. Doing this is like riding a bike, surely.
Well, yes, I suppose so. I was in a pop musical a couple of years ago called Dreamboats and Petticoats.
Yeah.
In the West End for a little while, and then I went on tour with it for 6 months. But that was a musical with a story, and I was playing the role of the father who ran the youth club as well as singing some of my old hits as well. But this is a one-night stand tour, not weekly touring, with Marty Wilde, Eden Kane, and Mike Berry, and the Wildcats, of course. And I'm really looking forward to it. I think it'll be a fantastic reunion. I haven't worked with Marty for many, many years, and he's a terrific showman, Marty.
Oh, he's still going strong.
He's got great rapport with the audience, wonderful, warm rapport.
All our era of the sharp suits and the collars and ties, yeah?
Well, absolutely, yeah. And I must say, these audiences just seem to go on, as I'm sure Cliff finds with his audiences.
And I'll tell you what, they're very faithful, very loyal, and they're
marvelous.
always there,
and he
aren't
puts
they?
on a fantastic show. I mean, let's face it, Cliff is probably the greatest mover in the pop world in this country, or in the world even. When I've seen other acts on stage, DVDs of them, they don't really do anything, but Cliff puts on a real 100%, 110% show.
Don't know where he gets the energy from. I think it's playing tennis 3 times a week.
Yeah, I gather that's the case, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what he does. Now, you mentioned, and unfortunately, courtesy of the British and the Portuguese postal system, the CDs I was expecting from you didn't arrive yet.
Oh, no.
But nevertheless, I've got enough of your material anyway.
They were sent, I know.
Yes, I know they were, but unfortunately it's taking a little. But you've got the new CD out later, and people can get it. I'm going to invite them now to log on to your new updated website, which is very simple. It's www.markwynter.com, is it not? And they can find out all about you. And I'm going to play another track of your music, but apart from being a brilliant singer, a terrific actor in both musicals and stage plays, you've also been a real-life hero, have you not? Can I take you back to the 8th of April 1968?
Oh, yeah. That was a tricky time. Well, you're talking about the plane crash.
Yes, well, not a lot of people know this, but you were a passenger on a Boeing 707 that crashed on landing at Heathrow on that day, and you actually rescued a dazed young girl from that aircraft, I do believe.
Well, she fell over. We had to abandon the plane, jump off the wing, because the plane had caught fire. It had taken off, and one of the engines on the port side caught fire. So the Captain John Taylor, who was very brave, I think, turned the plane round. We'd been flying for about 5 minutes, and the whole wing was on fire, and the engine fell off, amazingly enough, into a cement creek over Staines, just missing a school. We landed back on the other side of the Heathrow Airport, where there's some Nissan huts with no taxiing. Just came to a screeching halt. The plane was it was emergency exiting for everybody. I jumped off the wing along with another girl who then I ran on, and unless she'd fallen over. So I ran back to get her, because the plane at this point started blowing up. Huge chunks of the aircraft were flying into the air and landing on the tarmac. So I grabbed her and pulled her with me to the Nissan hut, which is about 300 or 400 yards away. And I'm sorry to say that five people nonetheless did unfortunately lose their lives.
Yes, including one of the stewardesses, Barbara Harrison, I think her name was, that was posthumously awarded a George Cross, I do believe.
Jane Harrison, yes.
Yes, Barbara Jane Harrison, her name, yeah. Oh, well, there we go. I just wanted people to know that not only are you all the things we know you for, but you're an extremely lovely man, a good family man as well. It's been a delight to have you on the show, Mark, and we hope you are going to come to Portugal and pay us a visit personally.
I would look forward to that enormously.
Now, I want you to do something very special for me, because when my wife Val found out that you were coming on the show with us this morning, she's always been an avid Cliff fan, and never in a million years did she think she would ever get to meet these people till she met me. And she then admitted, oh, well, I've got to tell you, it was a toss-up between Mark Wynter and Cliff Richard, and so Liz Briggs said the same, who works for Cliff. She said, but in the end, I've been loyal to both. And they're very pleased you've been on the show this morning. And my wife's favourite one of yours was Venus in Blue Jeans. So I want you to introduce this record that you recorded and took into the charts in 1962, and it's for Val. Let her know it's from you to her.
Val, I want to tell you that Venus in Blue Jeans has been the stepping stone for me of most other things that have happened in my life. I'm so lucky. Every so often I think we have one, if you're lucky, even at least one record that leads you onto something else. And when Tony Hatch rang me and said, I want you to come to London tomorrow morning, I was doing a summer season in Bournemouth, and record this track that I just had from America, I will get it out. I think it's tailor-made for you. I can honestly say that Venus in Blue Jeans is a thing that really did it for me. And it's the one people remember. And if you're wearing blue jeans at the moment, may I dedicate this song to you, Val in Blue Jeans.
Yeah, well, she reckons you were her Adonis in blue jeans. Mark, thank you so much for giving up your Sunday morning. We look forward to seeing you in due course and wish you continued success in your career. And I will be playing a couple of more of your tracks of music very shortly. So keep listening online, yeah?
Thank you very much, Owen.
Yeah, and keep up the good work.
I will. As long as I can, I will. I'm lucky. I keep getting off at work. That's good news.
Keep on keeping on, Mark. God bless you, and thank you very much for joining us.
My very best to everybody there.
Yes, indeed. We've been talking live on air to the legendary Mark Wynter.
Kiss FM.